This is video reaction number 4. David Miranda talks about how intellectual property powers economic growth. He is an intellectual property lawyer, and he talks about how fuel that can power our region's economic growth. And he really focuses on the ability to harness, develop, protect, and commercialize its collective and collaborative innovation. So basically, he really emphasizes the importance of innovation and having the workers or having employees that are able to innovate and be creative. His region grew. The region that he refers to is Albany, New York. His region grew because of its access to waterways and eventually railways. So this is when Albany was first being developed and everything. They had the access to rivers or waterways, and then eventually the railroads. It is very difficult to protect against theft and misuse of intellectual property. And because of this, there's protection against theft of these, which is the U.S. patent system. And it is also that intellectual property is more valuable than physical property. The cost and time of the patent is so great that a patent must go through trademark or trade secrets, which is often what we see. Patents are most quantifiable measures of innovation and entrepreneurship. So patents are very beneficial, and as well as the trademarks and trade secrets. It's the leading indicator of where an economy may be going. Intellectual property is. It tracks patents by region and by technology. So he referred to a graph in the research, and that's what they were tracking. So they were tracking the patents by region and by technology. This was able to show the economic development within the region. He referred to the 1990s of Austin, Texas, and Silicon Valley having growth. They had an immense amount of growth within this year, or within that decade, and they both relied heavily on technology and innovation. They had a 4-fold increase of patents in both of those regions, which helped them to innovate and everything like that. The Albany Molecular Research Company took a patent for a chemical compound and converted it into licensing for Allegra, which is a known drug, and they were able to make enough money off that and use that money to become a multi-million-dollar publicly traded company. And I believe he said that they had over 800 employees at one point. Then he talked about SUNY Albany, this company found that for every dollar spent in their region on research and development, their region tenfolded in that department and contributed towards the economic increase. New York outperforms just about everyone in green energy. It has the highest percentage, or Albany has the highest percentage of workers in clean and green energy. They have 28,000 plus employees in this, and 6.3 of their workforce is a part of clean and green energy. There are an additional 10,000 in compliance and regulatory. This makes it the fifth fastest growing clean and green energy in the nation, It has a 9% growth rate, and he talked about how the growth rate it used to be a lot more a lot more divided from what the nation is, but the nation is finally kind of catching up, so it's kind of slimmed over the years, but that's only because the rest of the nation is catching up. Dozens of companies contribute to the regions, and the innovation is at the top of importance and is at the top of everyone's priority, which this creates opportunity. With innovation, you have opportunity because if you're innovating things, you're creating more jobs, you're creating more technology and coming up with new things, so you need more people to work. He then referred to Richard Florida, who wrote a book, and in Richard Florida's book, he states that entrepreneurship and level of creativity attract individuals who are creative. This will provide the innovation and growth. So creative individuals are gonna innovate, they're gonna grow. If you have individuals who aren't creative, they're just gonna stay stagnant within the company and just be okay with doing the same thing over and over and doing the same thing and not growing within their company. Then the old HPC CEO stated that companies can keep their financial incentives, but they wanted to go where the creativity and intellectual individuals are. With being a computer company, you have to stay up on the latest technology and be ahead of it. So being creative and creating that innovation is vital to their company, and sometimes it's more important than the money. Because the money is going to be coming from their innovations. Then companies grow from technology, and technology grows from individuals. So if you don't have the individuals, you're not going to grow technologically, and then your company's not going to grow because your company's growing from the innovation and technology. Then he stated how there has the shift from industrial to knowledge, and from an industrial economy, has kind of shifted to knowledge and information-based economy, which is likely because a lot of times we're seeing the innovation and everything like that come to the forefront versus the industrial economy, and we're kind of steering away from that. The trademark and patents that I talked about earlier is definitely what relates to business law. We've talked about it previously in other chapters, and these allow for this allows for innovation and helps people to have their ideas and not have them taken. And so that's a very important aspect when companies are working with other people, and so that they can make sure that their ideas are original and they're not taking other people's ideas. But that's also where companies can run into trouble. If something is patented and they don't know that and they try and take that, then the company can get in trouble. But this is where business law comes into play and is very important.